Jerusalem,
Delhi, Beijing, Bangkok,
Jakarta, Perth, Broome, Darwin,
Townsville, Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra,
Melbourne, Adelaide, Hobart.
Reporting for ABC News 24.
A bus veers off a highway in Perth, crashing with 50 passengers on board. Fears for civilians as Syrian army forces come closer to seizing Aleppo off rebel fighters. A school trip ends in tragedy after a teacher goes missing at a swimming hole in Alice Springs. And a new vaccination set for trial in the hopes of protecting Australian children against meningococcal B. Hello, you're watching ABC News. I'm Fiona Ellis-Jones. Several people have been injured after a bus carrying 50 passengers veered off the Great Eastern Highway in Perth. This vision shows a Trans-Perth articulated bus with 50 passengers on board running off the road and then crashing near the Ascot Quay apartment building. 9 ambulances were sent to the scene, and a St John's ambulance spokesperson says 10 people have now been taken to hospital, including the bus driver. It is understood that a passerby stopped to help the injured off the bus. Authorities closed off the area. The crash is still causing major delays heading towards Perth Airport. Motorists are being advised to avoid that area. An end-of-year school trip has turned into tragedy after a teacher went missing at a popular swimming spot near Alice Springs. 42 students from the school headed out to Ellery Creek Big Hole this morning. But as of this evening, authorities fear one of their teachers has drowned.
It was a school excursion to a popular rock hole in the West Macdonnell Ranges. But shortly before lunchtime, a 48-year-old teacher began to struggle in the cold, deep water.
I understand he was swimming and went underneath the water, came back up, said he had a cramp, or it's alleged he had a cramp, and then went under the water again.
Authorities received an emergency call and raced to the scene as the Year 8 and 9 students from Centralian Middle School watched on in shock.
They're all enjoying a day out, and at the moment it's not good news in terms of what's transpired.
As students returned to Alice Springs to be comforted by parents, other visitors to the rock hole could only look on.
We were just coming in, we were planning on the tour was to go down and go for a swim down in the water hole. And after we parked the bus, we went down there and stopped by a police officer who just informed us that something had occurred down there and was requesting that people don't go down there.
The ABC understands the missing teacher is Paul Leggett, who started working at the school earlier this year. The Education Department has notified parents from Centralian Middle School, and they will provide counselling support services to teachers and students for the rest of the week.
We've put significant support, as you would expect, into looking after our students and staff.
As the school holidays approach, authorities say it's vital people take care in Territory waterways.
You just don't underestimate those type of places and take care.
A warning the students will never forget. Nick Hose, ABC News, Ellery Creek Big Hole.
An extensive sea and air search is underway for 3 family members missing off Cape Jaffa in the state's southeast. It's in South Australia. Police say the couple, aged in their 50s, and their son, who's in his 20s, are from the Kingston area. They haven't been seen since setting out in their boat from Cape Jaffa yesterday.
We're simply still treating this as a search and rescue operation. We've obviously got serious concerns, but our intention is to continue with that in mind.
It's believed they did have life jackets and an emergency beacon on board, but it was not activated. The search will continue until dark and resume at first light if there is still no sign of the trio. Homes came under threat near Cessnock in the New South Wales Hunter Valley this afternoon as firefighters battled an out-of-control bushfire. 2 separate blazes burnt out about 120 hectares, but easing conditions did help firefighters get the upper hand.
There was a very real threat to houses this afternoon. At lunchtime, 2 fires broke out in very close proximity, and within hours they were travelling towards each other and houses. The fear was the 2 fronts would collide, creating a larger fire that would pose a greater risk to houses. Residents who were home at the time were advised to stay inside and shelter, while those who were out were told to stay away.
If the fire comes, we'll be heading out to Cessnock Showground with my dogs, put them in the air conditioning.
We just got the photos and the dog and cat, and we're out. That was it.
Now, the threat has eased somewhat as the fires head northeast, but from up here in the air you can see how uncomfortably close the flames came to houses on the outskirts of town. Now, firefighters are here on the ground battling the blaze. They're also water bombing from the air, and they'll really want to get a handle on both fires ahead of what is expected to be an even hotter day tomorrow.
It's believed an electrical fault caused a fierce fire which destroyed a landmark in Melbourne's west. The Little Saigon market was home to 24 family businesses and a charitable foundation, and all are now looking for a new home just weeks before Christmas.
This one large building housed many small businesses.
Almost 30 shops, mostly a restaurant and a grocery.
The Little Saigon market was a focal point of the area's strong Vietnamese community. It's now been all but destroyed. Traders watched as their livelihoods were ruined.
My income,
Very hard for the business at the moment.
The blaze took hold about 6 o'clock as workers were setting up for the day. They managed to get out unhurt.
We think the fire started above the cool room in some machinery. We've got concerns of internal collapse with the walls and external walls.
The fire couldn't have happened at a worse time, less than a fortnight before Christmas and ahead of Chinese and Vietnamese New Year celebrations late next month.
It was also devastating for the Les Twentyman Foundation, which helps disadvantaged children through school. It had an office inside the market.
There would have been about 6,000 school textbooks, probably a lot of Christmas presents.
20 years of work was in the building with our back to school program. We put 450 kids through back to school every year, so those kids will have no textbooks to go to school next year.
The part owner of the building says plans have already been approved to redevelop the site into another shopping centre.
Very safe, yeah, for the trader and the customer as well.
A community with the courage to smile through adversity. James Hancock, ABC News, Melbourne.
In a national first, up to 60,000 South Australian teenagers will be offered a meningococcal B vaccine next year. The results of the statewide trial will then be used to persuade the federal government to make the vaccine available and free for all Australian children.
Christmas can be difficult for Adelaide parents Oren and Jill Clemick after the death of their 18-year-old son Jack from meningococcal disease in 2009.
Jill and I are going through Christmas number 8 now, and poor girls don't have their brother, and Jack's mates don't have their mate.
It's a dangerous disease that's hard to treat.
From playing football on the Saturday, he died on the Monday. So if I just wish this study was done 10 years earlier, because we wouldn't be here right now. He would be alive.
A vaccine for the meningococcal B strain became available on the private market 2 years ago, costing up to $500. Next year, the drug maker, the University of Adelaide and SA Health will give the vaccine to 60,000 Year 10, 11 and 12 students free of charge.
If you get vaccination rates high enough, you get protection not only for the vaccinated but also for the unvaccinated as well. So this really is a landmark study.
The results will be presented to the federal government.
To have this vaccination on the PBS so that all Australians can be protected against this terrible, terrible disease.
For now, just the C strain vaccine is subsidised, and parents have been advised to buy the expensive B strain vaccine themselves.
Certainly encourage children in those at-risk groups, infants, young children and adolescents, to be vaccinated.
25 South Australians have been diagnosed with meningococcal disease this year, including a baby who died in November. Tom Fedorovich, ABC News, Adelaide.
150 workers are out of a job after Victoria's biggest gold mine suspended operations. The owners of the Stawell gold mine say it's no longer profitable and may close permanently unless more gold is found.
These workers arrived to clock on at 5:30 this morning to find security in place and the gates locked.
Gutted, like everyone, bad time of year. Christmas is supposed to be festive season. I've got 3 kids. I've got one little boy that's sick in Melbourne.
Throughout the day, workers were brought to a local sporting club and told the news. The gold mine's viability has been under a cloud for years. Since 2012, staff numbers have halved and production has dwindled. Now Kirkland Lake Gold says it will go into care and maintenance mode with just 20 staff.
There's nothing special about the timing. It's just that, you know, we've seen eroding economics over the course of the last year, and this is as good a time as any to make that call.
The mine may reopen if more gold is found, or if a plan for an open cut mine at Big Hill that was rejected by the previous Liberal state government is approved down the track. But it's likely to be years away, too late for these workers.
Single income family, 2 kids. Yeah, done this for 11 years, so it's... And this time of the year, there's not, you know, people employing, and there's not a lot of opportunity in town.
Employment up here is not very good, and as I said to someone this morning, even with retraining, what are you going to get retrained to do? There's no jobs there.
The mine is one of the major employers in Stawell, a town of just 6,000 people, and locals fear the flow-on effects of the shutdown will be devastating. Motel owner Dave Wainwright says businesses have already been feeling the pinch since the mine downsized.
You've got 150 jobs gone. That's, you know, a lot of money that's not going to be floating around the town. Businesses are going to close, schools will downgrade, hospital will downgrade, everything will go down.
Another regional community bearing the brunt of the changing economy. Jessica Longbottom, ABC News, Stawell.
The pink ball is coming to the Ashes. Cricket officials have unveiled their plans for next summer's series, including the very first day-night test match to be played against England in the second test of the summer at the Adelaide Oval. The announcement comes only 2 days before the first day-night test at the Gabba against Pakistan.
The Gabba has traditionally hosted the first test of the summer. It's a welcome routine for the Australians and a true test for Pakistan's batsmen.
It's going to be a great challenge for their top order. As I mentioned just then, not many have played here in test matches, so it's good to get them at the Gabba first up.
The fourth test of the summer gets underway on Thursday, but the normal schedule will be restored next year. The first Ashes test is in Brisbane.
Let's be honest, this venue is a real stronghold for the Australian team. They love playing here, they love kicking off the summer, a series here.
Australia hasn't lost at the ground since 1988.
Having that record here, you know, sort of gets in the back of their mind a bit. You know, we usually do win here, so it's always gets off on a positive note and a good start for the summer.
But Cricket Australia has broken from tradition for the second Ashes test, opting for a day-night match at the Adelaide Oval.
We've now played 2 test matches in Adelaide in day-night conditions. It's been very well received.
We have form now. We're showing the world that we can do this and we can do it really well. I think there's no better place to host day-night test cricket than here in Adelaide.
The home ground advantage doesn't always extend off the field. Usman Khawaja wasn't recognised by a Gabba employee this morning.
She came down and she's like, "Oh, you need the locker rooms open?" I'm like, "Yes, please." And she started walking to the Pakistani change rooms. I was like, "Oh man." It's like, "No, I'm that way, thank you."
Pakistan has never won at the Gabba. England last enjoyed a victory in Brisbane in 1986. Mark Hydes, ABC News.
After a very warm day, we've got a cooler change set to move into the southeastern states overnight tonight. It will then start to move through the south and west of New South Wales, although not reaching Sydney until around about 5 or 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. So another very hot day ahead of it and very warm overnight temperatures through New South Wales. Got some very hot conditions over the inland of Queensland, some showers about the northeastern tropics. They'll extend across the north into many parts of the Northern Territory. And through the southeast, just some isolated showers about the coastal areas, but we will see them a little bit more widespread over the inland. The potential of abnormally high tides, around 30 to 40 centimetres higher than normal for Hobart in the morning. We're expecting to see a dry, sunny day for Perth.
Well, that is the news for now. I'm Fiona Ellis-Jones. Stay with us. The Drum is next.